Thank you. Please be seated. Prefect joke of the day is, what did the pony say to the doctor when his throat was sore? I'm a little hoarse.
Thanks, JoJo. You never want to start at the top with these jokes, you know, because there's nowhere to go. But that was okay. It was not too bad. Good morning, everyone. We'll start with singing the Groves House hymn, hymn number 4. I Feel the Winds of God. Please stand. Thank you. Please be seated. So I hope everybody had a good break. How many people just went home and just relaxed at home? Oh, lots of you. How many people went to like a favorite place? Went away, but somewhere where they really, a few of you. You're not too sure about that. How many people went to a place where they'd never been before? Ah, that's really great to see. So I'm one of those people. I went to Kathmandu to visit our Junu's school there, SMD school in Kathmandu, and it was just a mind-blowing experience and wonderful in every way. And one of the things that was really great is I got to teach a little bit. The grade 9s wanted to have me in to talk about philosophy, so I did that for about a week, and that was great. And one of the people that we looked at in that class, we looked at the Stoics, the Stoic philosophers, and one of the Stoics that we looked at was Seneca, a first century Roman philosopher. And this is what Seneca said: "There are more things that frighten us than injure us. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." So I thought that was such an interesting quote. I've been thinking about it ever since. And I've kind of been wondering, you know, if we ever really believe that we suffer more in our imaginations than we actually do in reality. If we ever really got that and understood it and believed it, how different our lives would be. how much less anxious we would be, how much less we would torment ourselves thinking about all the horrible things that could happen. So for the Stoics, the antidote to anxiety is not to be found ever in the circumstances of our lives. So anxiety, for instance, cannot be overcome by hard work. We can't say, well, I'm anxious, I'm just going to work harder. Because anxiety afflicts hardworking people just as much as it does lazy people, maybe in a different way. But it's not about changing our lives that's going to alleviate anxiety in our lives. It's only in one place, according to the Stoics, that we can actually deal with our anxiety. And where is that? Right? In our minds. So our minds are like theaters, really. We're coming up to the musical, and I thought I'd use this little metaphor, that our minds really are they're like a stage on which we imagine all kinds of wonderful and horrible things. We write plays with our imagination. We write stories about our life experience, but the stories are very often, almost always, not the same thing as reality. So we've always got these stories going on in our heads. So, of course, life is not always easy. It's not always pain-free. But according to the Stoics, again, it is not our life experience that determines our state of being and our sense of happiness. It's the way we respond. So, and I don't know why some people respond with lots of anxiety to life, and other people respond, without anxiety. But the Stoics, and I think the Buddhists as well, would say, we're not fated to be either anxious people or calm people, that we can actually do something about it. We can change the way we experience life. We can alleviate a lot of the anxiety in our life by becoming more aware and more in control of our thinking. It's not a short or an easy path. It takes discipline and self-reflection, and it requires us to continually practice kind of controlling our thoughts and responding to life in positive ways. And the first step, of course, on this path to a less stressful life is awareness. Maybe you can tell I've been with Buddhist monks for the last 3 weeks. Awareness of our thoughts, awareness of how our imagination creates these stories for us, awareness how we respond to circumstances, and awareness of how we can tend to interpret reality as either positive or negative. All of these kinds of awareness are the first step towards alleviating anxiety that we create by our own thoughts. And so we can start the process of awareness by examining our language. Think about the way we talk about life. We often speak of life as things happening to us. Why is this happening to me? We always say. We believe that things happen to us, and we talk that way as if the world is determined to make us unhappy. The whole world is out to get me. And from this thought, we create these stories in which we're the main character, in which we're center stage, in which everything is happening to us all the time. So life is full of stuff that happens, but the story is not what happens. The story of our lives is how we respond. Again, the story of our lives is how we deal with what life throws at us. So one day last week, I was in Kathmandu, and I was out at a little cafe for dinner with one of the monks, and it started to rain. And Junu will tell you, when it rains this time of year in Nepal, it really rains. It was raining so loud, we couldn't hear ourselves talk. The rain on the roof was so loud. And so we sat and drank tea until it stopped, and then I set out for my hotel. And when I stepped out onto the street, there was water rushing down the street, literally like a river. And in places, I had to slosh through water that was halfway up to my knees. And I was really interested in how people were kind of reacting to this. As I looked around, some people were scowling and really unhappy, and other people were, and I think this was the majority of people, they were laughing and shouting with glee like it was some kind of flood festival that they'd been waiting for, now it was time to celebrate. So same flood, same inconvenience, but wildly varying responses, from anger to sheer joy. So all experiences are not neutral. There's some things that happen to us. There you go. Some things happen that are very difficult. But everything that happens to us holds out an invitation an invitation to either retract in fear or to embrace life fully. So as we find our way back into life at Shawnigan, I invite you to explore this possibility of choosing more intentionally how to respond, how we might all respond to our life together. And to think about how our responses have the possibility not only to make us less anxious, but it also holds out the possibility of making us people who are better able to serve others. So the less anxious we are, the less negative we are, the more we're able to really serve the people around us. And remember, of course, the words of Seneca, there are more things that frighten us than injure us. We suffer more often in imagination than in reality. So we have a very busy couple of weeks ahead. We've got visitors from Azabu, we've got the CASE conference, we've got the musical coming up. All of these things are really opportunities for all of us to put our best feet forward as a community. And the success of all of these things in many ways depends on the contribution, whether big or little, of every single one of us. We all have a part to play in the success of what is to come. So enjoy all of this wonderful activity. And we'll end with the school hymn, hymn number 1, There's a Voice in the Wilderness. Please stand. Thank you all. Have a great day.